The progress of a nation is measured by the advancements of its educational system. Quality education shapes not only individual minds, but also the trajectory of a nation and societal progress. It is the very foundation upon which development can be built. Yet, despite its critical role, our country's education system remains deeply flawed. Indonesia, home to over 270 million people, 60 million of whom are students. Yet, in the 2022 PISA rankings, we ranked 74th out of 81 countries in math and science. For comparison, Vietnam is a nation with half our GDP per capita ranked in the top 10. So, how did we get here? Why are our students, despite their bright potential, lagging behind other nations? Warm greetings, respected judges, lecturers, and friends. My name is Ivana Roberta Simarmata from the Visual Communication Design major of ITERA. I stand here today to discuss the urgency of advancing quality education in Indonesia, a goal that we, as a nation, are tragically failing to meet. Ladies and gentlemen, our country's education system is failing its youth and with it our collective future. Let me share with you these three harsh realities. First, the illusion of progression in students. In our central capital of Jakarta, 1 in 3 students advance grades without literacy or numeracy skills due to policies that allow them to do so. We are not just failing to educate here, we are trying to institutionalize incompetence and degrade integration, stripping diplomas of their meaning. Secondly, we have the issue of teachers' lives undervalued and at risk. It is a fact that 65% of Indonesian educators lack informal pedagogical training, and many enter classrooms with only a high school diploma. Compounding this crisis is systemic exploitation, while the average teacher only earns less than 4 million Indonesian rupiahs per month. How can we demand excellence from those we've pushed into poverty? And the final outcome from all of this is that our PISA scores plummeted for well over a decade. Indonesia's PISA scores, an assessment measuring in critical thinking, math, science, and reading, have ranked bottom 10 globally, trailing behind countries like Vietnam. Vietnam invests in creativity and teacher empowerment, prioritizing teacher training, decentralizing curriculums to foster innovation, and ensuring rural students access the same resources as those who live in the urban elites. Meanwhile, Indonesia's rigid, exam-focused system stifles critical thinking, leaving our students unprepared for a world that rewards problem-solving instead of rote memorization. These are proofs of educational failures that we should reflect as a nationwide crisis. As a nation, we are at risk for not just falling behind, but being left behind entirely. Therefore, I suggest we must act immediately. To reclaim Indonesia's education system, I propose 4 solutive and impactful steps that we can push towards the agenda for a better education. I call it RISE. Reform, Invest, Support and Empower. First, reform begins with the overhauling the outdated curriculum in schools to prioritize critical thinking over rote memorization. By integrating problem-solving frameworks inspired by global leaders such as Singapore, we can nurture creativity, adaptability, and humility in our classrooms. Simultaneously, we must invest in our teachers, the backbone of education. Raising minimum wages for educators in public institutions to match the regional standards and mandating standardized training to ensure that our educators are motivated, skilled, and equipped to lead and inspire our future generations. Next, we must demand the new government's support in equitable infrastructure by allocating 20% of the national budget to rural schools that will diminish urban-rural divide, providing facilities long denied to marginalized communities. Finally, empower educators and students by reinstating standardized tests to measure real progress and ending automatic grade promotion, ensuring students master the skills before advancing. Ladies and gentlemen, we must realize that the cost of our negligence and inaction will be written in the futures we lose. Every day we delay reform, we will lose a bright generation of students robbed of their potential. Now, as I end this speech, I challenge my fellow colleagues, demand the classrooms that challenge you. To my honorable lecturers, educators, be mentors for your pupils and peers. encourage them to also fight for the rights and respect that you deserve as a contributor in education. As Nelson Mandela once said, education is the single most powerful weapon to change the world. Indonesia's weapon is bent, but not broken. With RISE, together we can make it right. We can build a system where no student is left behind, no talent is going to waste. Our time to act is now. Thank you.